All right, well, we're on. So welcome back, everybody, back with Tall Tales. And if you're watching at home, you'll notice that we have something new on the wall. Lecca's decided to decorate the studio overnight. So he's filled this out. So this is a photo of Lecca. What year was this? What year did you win a premiership?
2018.
Yeah. So
Rothy's been asking for a signed photo for years off his fishing mentor. So finally snuck it up there for him.
yeah,
There you go, mate.
thanks, mate. So, to pay homage to that grand final, I've got a sound effect here.
Let me set the scene here.
Yeah, so let's set the scene, fuckhead. Anyway, thank you for that. I'm going to sell it. If anybody wants it, the bidding will start at $100. But today we are joined by a very, very good fisherman, I've been told. But Lecca's been sort of ragging on him, so maybe that's not the case. But we'll see. We've been sledging each other a bit, but nah. This man has some very he's very credible. Mr. Drew Clow,
skipper.
Actually, there we go. So all this ragging's just gone down the toilet. So there we go. Drew Clow, welcome to the podcast, mate.
Thanks for having me, lads.
Mate, stoked to have you on here. So for people that don't know, Drewy runs Jazz Charters.
Yep.
Out of
Fremantle.
Perth, so it's probably Perth's premier charter business.
Definitely.
As well. Been in the game for a long time, so I'm really stoked to have you on the couch here. It's taken a little bit of time.
A couple of trips.
we had a bit of a stuff up with some audio interference the last time, and we've sorted it out. But we've got the man back.
Yeah, thanks for your patience, mate. What a nightmare that was. But not the first time we've actually had Drew on the podcast. You did call in the day that you caught that record, Cobia.
Yep.
That's definitely going to be a topic of conversation that we'll probably get to pretty early. But we start every podcast, mate, with the last fish that you caught. So I know you spend your days getting other people onto the fish, but what was your
pink snapper?
There you go.
So the odds are in its favour, that's for sure.
From the top deck, are you a charter boat?
Yeah, top deck. Yeah, always top deck.
Nice.
No bait allowed upstairs.
No, plackies only.
Plackies only.
What's your go-to?
Oh, look, it started off as always Zedman's, but no, back in the first days it was Mad Eye paddle prawns.
Yep.
They were the go-to. There was I can't remember what it was called. It was a partition lure. It was like a snapback or something.
Yeah, right.
It was an older one and not in circulation anymore. That was pretty good. But the Mad Eye paddle prawn, I think my favourite combo was a pearl skirt with an orange paddle prawn in the smaller size. That was the go-to.
Remember the old skirts? Yeah, the early days.
Well, they have a skirt on them.
No, you used to get the skirt and then you used to put that over the top of your soft plastic for extra.
That was the original.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of extra bling.
Yeah, mate. It was all about adding bling. It was the same thing as when you used to get your like metal jigs and stuff as well. Everyone used to put the skirts and stuff on them but now
it's minimalist now. It's like, less is more.
Yeah.
100%.
So I reckon everyone will know you as the skipper of Jazz. But I want to break it down and go to your early days. How did you actually get into fishing?
As a kid, rock hopping, beach. Grew up in South Perth, so everything was pretty central to me. Jump on public transport. We had friends that lived on the coast, so quite often they'd drop me off at the Cottesloe Groin in the morning and then pick me up at sundown, and sometimes they didn't pick me up. They'd forget. They'd be on the piss, and then, we've got to pick up Drew. He's still at the rocks, and I'd be asleep under a rock on the Cottesloe Groin. They'd wake me up and go, come on, go home now.
Yeah. And what, did you have any good catches there?
It was all right. I get tailwine and then, tailor, herring, stuff like that. Didn't really target any of the big demersals back then. It was not a thing that people really did a hell of a lot of. It was all more bread and butter species down there. And that evolved, I suppose, into boat fishing. We had boats in the family as well. So, and I had friends crayfishing out of Seabird, family friends. So we did a bit of fishing off their boats as young fellas as well.
Yeah. Did you have a mentor?
Oh, not really. I think later in life, I had a cafe in behind the Wembley pub, and there was an old Italian fella that used to come in there. Ron Lepresti was his name. He's passed now, but me and Ronnie sort of didn't see eye to eye straight off. He didn't like me. I didn't like him, both Sagittarians. And he thought I was an arrogant little shit. And,
Was he right? He might have been.
Look, in the end, we ended up being best mates.
Yeah,
but to start off with, he just didn't want to tolerate me. He just thought this young punk talks too much crap.
That's like Jake Waterman and my brother.
Yeah.
Jake just thought he actually did a wedding speech and he goes, first time I ever met Josh Rotham, I thought to myself, cock it. Same thing.
Pretty much when I walked into when it was all boats, Tugwell HQ back in the day, and I think Hart was like, stick.
Yeah.
He doesn't know anything. Bloody flatlander.
So how did you evolve from that and to like what was your next step? Because you worked a little bit as commercial fishing and stuff as well.
I think
right?
I didn't like school. I moved from South Perth up to the hills, which was a big culture shock to me because I was always about the river. We lived in South Perth, so I was on the doorstep. I used to run the rescue boat for the cats, the sailing cats with a mate of mine. Going to the hills, I just tried to catch anything I could, which was pretty much yabbies and marron. Didn't know anything about freshwater fish at that stage. Didn't like school. School didn't like me. Parents said, you got to do something. And there was a TAFE course, nautical knowledge, marine, something marine based. Did that. My stepdad owned a car yard in Midland. He sold a guy a car. He was a skipper of a trawler.
Yep.
And he was telling him about me. And the guy goes, well, I'll give him a job. He's going to learn more in 2 minutes on a boat. He's going to learn in 2 months in a room. Bring him to work. So that was the start of the fishing career and the commercial side of things. It was a bit of an eye-opener being on trawlers. I was only about 16 at the time. Real men, proper men.
It would have been, yeah.
Like man's man sort of stuff, bikies and, the undesirables that used to want to hide from society. And there's poor old Clowesy down there.
Where was that based out of?
So we worked for Morning Star Fisheries. I worked on Morning Star 4, which was quite a nice new boat, like the mother boat of the ship, of the fleet, and did a refit in the old Kalis yard, which is now Blue HQ. First job, I think, was a needle gun in the anchor locker with some rust wrens. Horrible.
Yeah, right.
Industrial deafness 101. They couldn't get any worse than that. Stayed on, did the season, came home, made some money, got paid, did another season, did different fisheries, did prawns, scallops, fish trawling, then got out of it, not through any other reason that I just didn't really enjoy it that much.
Yeah,
a lot of death and carnage going on there. Not that I appreciated it at the time. Now I sort of appreciate it more of a bit of a fishery that's like, there's a lot of bycatch involved in the trawl fishery. But it opened my eyes to a lot of other things and me being me, there was always these big yellowfin tuna behind the boat. No one gave a shit about catching tuna.
Big chum. Big chum tail,
they're just behind the boat all the time. But like low light conditions, you can get away with catching them. And it was like 30 fathoms of cray rope. And I'd have that joined onto some 300, 400, 500 pound mono with a little tuna circle. And I'd stick it inside of a dollar fish. And I'd put all the dollar fish in one crate, walk down to the back of the boat, put all the line in there, cover it in fish and throw it into the wash. And these things were just like torpedoes going through. And 9 times out of 10, you wouldn't catch one.
Yep.
They would see the line coming out of the little $1 fish, and you'd just go.
So
you throw them all over,
all at once,
and one of them would have a hook in it.
One have a hook in it. That's it.
Yeah.
So you're playing the numbers on, which one's going to make the mistake today.
Yeah.
But usually when that's happening, everyone's already off deck. So when the nets are pulled, you spill the cod ends, tie them up, hook him over the side. It's all full-time fishing. You don't stop, especially with scallops. Then you're sorting it, shucking it, processing it, putting it aside to dry out before you put it into the snap. I'd be down the back doing my thing.
Yeah.
And half the time everyone would be inside having a coffee upstairs on the rack, having a smoke, and I'd hook up. And these weren't small fish. They were like up to 60 kilos.
Wow.
And it's like, and the weird thing is if you couldn't turn that fish in the 30 fathoms plus the 10 or so meters of mono, they'd just ping you off. You wouldn't land many.
So you had something innate like in you from early days just try and
it wasn't just a job. You loved doing it.
I love fishing. It was a passion. My dad was a fisherman. He was actually a blind piano player. That was his, he was born premature and they put him in inky crib and they pumped pure oxygen into him and just burn his eyeballs. Apparently that was the story I was told.
So he was blind?
Yeah, pretty much. From birth, pretty much. He had like shadows and stuff. He used to follow his sister. She had they put a bit of card on your forks of your bike so it would
Oh, yeah.
A bit like a Spokey Dokey, I suppose, from back in the day.
Or the crushed can on the back tire.
Yeah, stuff like that. So he liked fishing. That was one thing he could do with his mates, and it wasn't, couldn't drive.
It's quite sensory, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So he was quite a good fisherman. They might have played a few tricks on him by tugging on the line.
Oh, I reckon you would.
Yeah.
He got a lot more bites than anyone else.
Sounds like Lecca on the boat with me.
Yeah.
I might not hooking up. Oh, mate, so how long would you go to sea for with the trawlers?
Trawlers, with prawns was sort of like rotated around the moon phases. So if it was a full moon, you wouldn't fish the full moon because the prawns would go to ground.
Yep.
Scallops was just keep fishing to your round of water, food or fuel, or your freezer was full.
Just go hard.
Just keep going.
Mate, that's like you said, I reckon real men out on the ocean when they're going multiple days.
I think I went away. I was playing like Sunday football up at Mount Elena, and I'd left them guys and went to do the trawling, and people were like, "You're a different person. You went away a boy and you came back a man in such a short period of time. You didn't have a choice. You just had to grow up. There was you couldn't cry to mum or."
Yeah, well, they say that happens going from sort of primary school to high school, and then high school to university again. But when that's your education.
Yeah.
Getting thrown in there with grown men with no empathy for you. That's a real shock.
The things that they would do to greenhorns like myself at the time, you go do the snap. That was the worst job. So you had like a ton and a half snap that was like running at minus 52. They'd turn the fans off while you were.
Is this a snap freezer?
Snap freezer.
It's that cold.
And there was like a 50-ton hold on the boat as well. And so you'd actually break out the bags in from the little trays, and then you'd staple them all together in boxes and then stack the boxes in the hold. And it was a horrible job. You couldn't, earrings would start to burn your ears. You'd have, just
stalagmites,
stalactites
coming off your
down.
Yeah.
Hanging off you. It was miserable. Yeah, but, as soon as you got out of there, it was heaven.
Yeah.
You were so cold. And you got out there, it was like, it was so nice.
Yeah.
But that was just one thing it was a bad part of the job. But you could also get locked down there. So part of the fun was just putting the bung back on the freezer, turning the fans on so I got to minus 50 while it was pitch black. And you just sit there and go, well, I can't do my job. I'll open it up eventually.
Yeah.
Sometimes it took longer than others.
Oh, you'd just be waiting for someone younger to come along.
Yeah, yeah. All right, you're up, big fella.
There was just so much stuff you do to people. As soon as you had your back turned, something could happen.
Yeah.
You always had to have eyes in the back of your head, like coffee, just having a coffee, and you'd be shucking a scallop, and like someone would just put the scallop guts and eyes in your coffee. And because it's all salty, your lips are salty, you're just drinking away. But the very last bit of your coffee, you'd eyeball it.
I remember, we were in, that reminds me, we were been in Hong Kong on a footy trip, and I was late or something like that. Yeah, and I think it was Dean Cox, and they put a chicken head in my beer from like one of the restaurants or something. I had to, and because I was late or whatever, they were like, you have to scull it, and I sculled it, and the beak tapped me on the lip. And I was just like, that was it. I just
you literally got a little peck.
Yeah, peck. Yeah,
and that's usually how it happens. As you just do that last bit that just comes down and goes straight in your mouth, you just spit it back in.
Yeah. So how did you actually end up in the charter business?
Oh, I've done a lot of stuff in between. Went crayfishing after that, had a cafe like I told you, worked at the Vines Resort, done lots of weird and wonderful things, worked as a carpenter or a TA to a chippy.
They literally just jumped around from jobs.
Jumped around, did the fishing stuff, came back, went to Broome, lived up there for a little while.
Yep.
Did pearling, did shark fishing up there as well with a good mate of mine, Woody. I never really lasted longer than 5 years in a job, and usually within a year I was looking for something else to do. It was just didn't
sound like me.
Just couldn't get comfortable with one single role. It was just mundane task after task. It just wasn't me.
Were you wreck fishing during this period?
All the time. Didn't stop. Just fishing. Even when we went to Broome, my mate came with me and we just fished every day. Didn't work. Hurt my back crayfishing, so I had income protection at the time.
Yeah.
And, I milked it a bit, had a good time.
Of course you did.
How'd you do? Got a payout on the 5th year. They said, we're not paying you anymore.
Yep.
Show me the money. Be like you, Lecca.
Yeah.
Hey, this is the riffing I was talking about. Here we go. It starts now.
But then obviously when I was in Broome, we worked for a guy who had a charter boat. And I think he said to me one day, you never make a charter work in Fremantle. It's too hard.
Yeah.
And that resonated with me. I thought, yeah, really?
Watch me.
You sure about that? Because when I was a kid, I always wanted to own a charter boat. I don't know why.
Yeah, you were saying that was your dream, wasn't it?
Well, it was. It was like something I'd thought about from an early day because I used to go on charters as a kid. Not a lot because we had boats in the family, but we went to Broome one time when I was like 12 or something, and I went fishing. And I thought I was a pretty good fisherman. And as it worked out, there was a guy next to me who was real shit, but he caught so many more fish than me. I don't think he got a fucking bite all day.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at this guy going, how is this even possible? So
that's what I feel like when Rothy outfishes me.
Yeah, definitely.
Every time.
And so that was like, I was in the back burners, I worked in cars. I was a buyer for pickles. I was an auctioneer. I had a car yard. Worked for AHG for a while. And then the goalpost got moving on AHG and this boat came on the market. And my crayfishing boss from back in the day when I was in the 20s said, this one's on the market. Went down and the AHG wanted me to sign a new contract. And I said, well, the old contract says nothing about where I've got to sign a new one. They want me to work Wednesday nights and Saturday mornings, got a young family. And I'm like, mate, not doing it.
Yeah.
No, you have to. I said, no, I don't. And then I just went and put an offer on the boat, signed, and they accepted the contract. So I they accepted my contract. I accepted the AHG's contract the same day. And the next day I walked in with my resignation.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's ripping up the contract in front of me going, no, don't worry about it. I'm like, no, I've pulled the trigger now.
So what, it was just like a off the cuff, or were you looking?
I was looking. There was a few boats on the market, nothing that really tickled my fancy sort of thing, like wins with Detroits and stuff in it.
Yeah.
Just like having the commercial background, you hear about all the, the things that they were good in their day. They did a job. They were a fast, economical motor, but now they're not.
So what's the boat? Tell us what boat you bought.
Well, I bought a new 53 West Coaster. It was built as a charter boat.
Yeah.
I'd say with a fair emphasis on diving with the size of the Marlin board and the two big ladders. And then at home, I've got racks that go in behind the aluminium seats, which are all bottle racks. I think the previous owner, Neil Williams, he was right into his diving. Didn't mind a bit of fishing as well.
What was he using it for?
For charter.
Yeah, okay.
He also drove Rottnest ferry and had a plumbing business. I'm pretty sure it wasn't just for charter.
Yeah.
Probably a nice little boat to have on the side, cover its costs a bit and utilise it for his own personal use in the meantime.
Yeah. So the challenge of setting up out of Fremantle, how did that go for you at the start?
Look, at the start, it wasn't easy. Like, I was going off pretty good money, car, phone, fuel, easy lifestyle. Didn't work weekends, kids' sport, coaching and all that sort of stuff. It was great. First year, tough. Like, taking a huge pay cut for starters, trying to get the work. Like, we had the social side of things pretty not covered, but we were like the new kids on the block with an older boat, but the boat was good, had a good reputation, had 2 toilets, all the right stuff that people want. But fishing was tough. Like, I'd fished inside, like I think with that Ron Lepresti fella, my mate.
Yeah.
Now, he showed me more to the inside fishery than anyone has.
We're talking, you say inside fishery? We're
So
talking
I mean sub 30 metres.
Gotcha.
So when I was working at the food hall, eventually got him to take me fishing one day. And I think I caught 12 jewies for research for Swan Tafe at the time. Now, I didn't realise he was getting paid. $50 a jewie, 400 for the day, plus a bunch of other stuff he was jabbing into him. And he was just like, get me, you can have a king jewel. Here's a black ass, thanks for coming, sort of thing. It was quite funny. And yeah, that was like my bread and butter sort of background. That's where I like to fish. And as it worked out, it corresponded well with pink snapper at certain times of year, even more so as I learnt more and more about the fishery. Al Bevan gave us a bit of a hand in the early days. I corresponded by putting a few more people on his boat because he wasn't really great at getting back to people.
Yep. I've fished with Al. I've fished with Al.
Yeah. So it worked fine. We sort of scratched each other's backs and it was fine. But that was the first year was the toughest because we didn't have the weekend bookings for fishing. midweek was sort of dead when it came to social cruises and stuff. So there's a lot of downtime.
You were doing Buxters and Hens nights.
So bad.
So I want to pick your brains a little bit though, because the snapper fishery. Well, actually, me and you just came off a big day today, didn't we? So we spent the day Rothy at Parliament House.
Yeah, I wanna ask you just for a bit of a summary on that because that's pretty interesting. But I think while we're on the snapper subject, we should definitely do a bit of a deep dive with Drew if he's willing to share any info. So how have you sort of from what year were you sort of getting your head around it all?
We're probably early 2010s, 12, 13, I think I started.
Right,
11,
so
12,
15 years-ish.
Yeah, 12, 13 years, whatever it happens to be. I think I've said 12 years for
they all
years now.
One. Yeah.
It was over 10 years. That's all that counts.
Gotcha.
Look, I think with social media, the changes in electronics, mapping, all this stuff, people have got better at fishing.
Yeah.
And myself included. Like I had an old Ray Marine set up and I was driving over schools of pinkies. They were that tightly balled together. I thought they were bait.
Wow.
I had no separation. So it was just like one big red clump and I'm like, oh, it's just bait.
So you wouldn't fish
so no transducer or anything.
They had a
like
transducer and stuff, but it was like it's 1 kilowatt transducer.
Yeah.
Older style electronics, not arches, just blobs.
Yeah.
They were just blobs. I think even on the Ramco, I've got the Rance, which is just blobs. It doesn't come as arches. It's the way it's set.
Yeah.
And one day I think I saw separation. They probably weren't as tight packed and I saw separation. And now it's a closed zone. It's like, we used to say we're the gatekeepers. If they get past us and get into the sound, we don't chase them into the sound. That was our border, so to speak. And the border grew as people became more educated about inshore fishing. I think, in the good old days when not many people knew about it, the crayfishermen knew about it because when they were pulling pots in the shallows, the crayfish were like herring, like they'd just be at the side.
Snapper.
Yeah, sorry. The
crayfish were
no,
but the snapper
were like herring.
So that's one thing I want to touch on your techniques and how they've evolved over the years as well. Because when I fished with Al Bevan, he had this big diesel engine. We'd go out. We're out the back of Garden Island. And before we would drop lines, he would rev the guts out of the motor and he'd be throwing blue mac over the side and then you'd whack a hook through a blue mac and you just pretty much just throw it unweighted over the side as well. And the snapper would come up as if someone is pulling a cray pot.
100%.
Imitating a crayfish.
So when I did commercially fish down there, we used to have a piece of, when we were allowed to actually commercially fish as well as rock lobster fish.
Yep.
So every rock lobster boat had a wet license. So I used to have a strop, which is the last bit of rope that goes onto the pot, or the other rope in the float. And on the end of that strop, I'd have a 150-pound mono with a hook. And as I was debaiting, because I was the stacker, I'd debait, find an old head, to stick it on the hook, throw it over the side. Now, by the time that was when he was winching the next pot, so the boat was stationary.
Yep.
By the time I got back from stacking the pot, there was usually a pinky on that line. And I'd just pick it up, throw it over, the next pot was there, away you'd go. And it was just like, you didn't get them all day, but the first light bite, they were there. And I'd actually forgotten about that.
Yep.
As the evolution of a person and forgot where you came from to a certain extent.
If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, pretty much. And and then it sort of came back to me a bit, especially fishing, I was revving the motors. Now, we don't rev the motor as much as we used to because waters are pretty good. It transfers noise really, really well.
Yep.
They know when you're there. Sometimes I won't even mark a fish on a spot, but I've got a feeling they're in that area and I won't leave it straight away. I might do 2 drifts for nothing.
Yep.
And a lot of the time when you hit that horn, you look at the sounder and it's like, oh, they're there.
They rock up.
And they hit the horn again. Put them back in, boys.
And it works like that?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're there waiting.
How's that?
Sometimes they're just like in certain spots. There's certain spots I wouldn't guarantee a fish, but at certain times of year you could almost guarantee a fish on certain weather conditions, certain moon phases, tide phases.
Yeah.
You can't not catch a fish. It's ridiculous.
Do you have a preferred moon phase?
Lead up to full.
Yeah.
Lead up to full, 3 meters of swell, 15 knot sou'wester.
Yeah, that's
overcast conditions.
Yeah.
Incoming tide.
Yeah. So
moon set, moon and sunrise. And if you put all those together, you pretty much could not catch.
Couldn't
miss. Not catch a fish.
That's
How's
a wet
that?
dream for snapper fishermen.
But
go again. Tell us all that again.
So you've got sunrise, moon set, incoming tide towards the top preferably, overcast conditions, 3 meters of swell, dirty water.
You're on.
World's your oyster.
Wow. Clip that.
Yeah. Let's go.
But they don't correspond all the time. Like it
doesn't. But I want to talk to you about how your techniques evolved into soft plastics and all the rest of it as well. But that sort of education around the recreational fisher has, I feel, spread amongst anglers through articles in the Western Angler, through, episodes on all sorts of stuff.
Tall Tales podcast.
Tall Tales. and that's improved catch rates as well.
100%. People talk about it. Back in my day, my dad had a mobile phone. It was as big as a suitcase. That's how big they were back in the day. Now you got phones and cameras and you can go live. Like I go live. My missus hates it because we're pretty booked up.
Yeah.
And don't do another video.
Don't
do another video.
Because she just gets inundated.
Oh, the phone doesn't stop. Like really, it's ridiculous to have one charter boat working out of, a mate's
in the
metro area. There's a few others around. Not many do it as well as we do. They're not as passionate about it as we are.
Well, here I'll back you up there. I could not name another charter boat in Perth. Honestly.
Not now. You could have 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about the changes, I reckon. But talk to us before we move on. I want to talk to you about your evolution in targeting pink snapper because...
Well, yeah, I suppose in the early days it was like a paternoster style rig.
Yep.
Single dropper. And then that evolved and we started using plastics. Plastics were great. The Z-Man, obviously the Mad Eyes to start with. Mad Eyes then evolved into Z-Mans. Z-Mans have currently evolved into
live ops.
Live ops.
There you
I
go.
bought the wrong size apparently.
So what's your favourite size for pink snapper?
Plastic. What's that? 7 inch?
It's a 5-inch.
Five.
So those 7-inch do work, but it's quite a large plastic. It's got a large profile. If it's a windy day, you want that penetration through the water column. So if you've got the big plastic, the big jig head, try to get it down. It doesn't present quite as well. The boys have been doing stinger hooks. So just attaching another hook to the shaft and then running it through the plastic and attaching it to the tentacles for a little bit more of that curiosity bite, not so much the...
So you're actually running it through the middle of the soft plastic with a bit of mono, tying it onto the hook and then running a stinger onto the back end of it.
So I ran stingers back in the day and they were just jigging assists, small jigging assists that were just in the bargain basement bin.
Yeah.
And all I do is, because it's got a loop on it, I just put it over the main shaft of the hook and then it would just cinch down to the clove hitch and it would just sit in that zone. You could pin it to the plastic or you could just leave it. And we did that very early in the piece on a few plastics, just for shits and giggles more than anything else. Better hookup rate. So if fish are being a bit finicky, put the stinger on, you get those ones that are just like...
I've been doing it.
Yeah. You find a difference?
Yeah, on the new BKK jig heads, they've got that bottom eyelet. So tie it to the bottom of the eyelet. But I've seen some guys do some rad shit with like even glow beads, putting glow beads in there and then a swivel that comes off the shank of the hook and then threading it through the plastic.
But they've got plastics now where you can do insert leaded assists to get it synced.
That's the live ops.
Yeah. But yeah, you can do all sorts of stuff. Even, Tim Barlow reckons you put a glow bean on the top and it kind of gives them a target to hit so they don't, I guess, grab the tail of your placky. But yeah, I've been running the same thing, stinger assist off the back.
And we have the topper, the muley topper, we call it. So it's sort of like you're the best of both worlds. So you've got your normal plastic 7-inch Z-Man and then you just grab a pilly and you just put it through the nose and it just sits flat to the plastic.
Yeah.
And you hook that out. So instead of using S-Factor or something, you've got a bit of bait. And what happens a lot of the time is that the pickers might hit the bait and create its own little burley trail for that plastic.
Yeah.
So they're hitting away at it and then it gets the interest of the bigger fish because they're not always as keen to come down and have a chomp straight up.
And like they're smart. They didn't get that big through being done.
And like I say to all my customers, stop striking at it.
Yeah.
So let it eat.
Yeah.
Like having dinner and someone's ripping the plate out after you just put the knife out. It's like, come on, mate.
I want to ask you.
Just before you move on, Lev, I do kind of think that's interesting that you say that, because I'll let them eat, but then as soon as I feel like they've got that hook in their mouth, I actually listened to or watched an episode on Daiwa's YouTube channel with a guy named Sam Gilchrist, and what he said was you just got to treat them with pure disrespect when you set the hooks. I'll proper set the hooks in them now, and what I find is those bigger ones, they won't run you into the reef as quick if you're in that gnarly structure. You'll be able to get that initial. I kind of think the same with the same with mulloway, because mulloway I'll find they'll do two big runs in a straight line. They don't really dart around or anything.
Yeah,
but just by setting the hooks in them, you turn the head that little bit away from the reef.
Get a head start.
I think so.
Yeah,
pinkies predominantly aren't a bad fish to be reefed. They're not a big reefing fish.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is about them, but they fight nice and up and down.
Yeah.
But then, you get that one Sambo that comes to the party.
Yeah.
And he just wreaks havoc. He starts at the front of the boat.
That'd be a charter boat.
Goes to the back of the boat, then goes back up the front again.
Just tangles all the lines out the back of the boat.
Horrible stuff.
Another thing I want to ask you on the plackies, Clousey, what do you think about sort of jig head weights?
So I fish as light as possible.
Yeah, cool.
So
me too.
You don't, unless you go targeting like dewies and stuff on the bottom, like sitting like deep. A pinky in 30 metres will quite often come up to 5 metres. I've been in 30 when it's blowing like 20 knots, and I haven't changed my jig head. And I think this thing's probably maybe a metre under the water.
Yeah.
We chum it up, we drifted it a few times, and yet I'm getting the bite because the chum's not even getting down. They're active.
Yep.
And they're actually up so high in the water column that I'm getting more fish upstairs by being lazy and not changing my jig head than the guy that's using a size 10 ball sinker and a muley, or a guy that's changed his jig head up to, 1.5 ounce because he's not getting the penetration, but they're already onto the trail of the chum and they're up.
Yeah.
So get your lure in the burley trail.
Pretty much. I mean, unweighted is the best. If you got a low drift day, look, if I was a wood duck, I would not drift fish for pinkies.
Yeah.
Because you haven't got that big thumping diesel that's chugging away, unless you happen to have one of those boats. But anchoring, chumming and wading is your best option. Sometimes you can wait a long time, but those fish usually patrol an edge and they'll go up and down that edge. There's been some other theories about fish that pitch off into the deep every night, every day. I know about that. They might go out a little bit and hang in the sand because quite often you find them just sitting in the sand.
Yeah. On
bait balls mainly.
Yeah, on that 28, 30 metre line.
Yeah. Even out to the 40s, sometimes you just find a bait ball and you'll just see it, just the edge of a fish, not even not a full arch, just the edge. And you go, better go and have a look.
Yeah.
Have a drop. What's it going to take? A couple of minutes? Who cares? And then you get down there and all of a sudden it just lights up.
Erupts.
Yeah.
So it's worth circling back on those little marks.
Mate, even when you're travelling, I mean, I'll be up at Onslow recently, and we have spots out in the 50s and 60s, which is shark infested. You don't want to fish there on the big ground. It's just like you hook fish. Don't worry about that. You'll hook everything. You won't land anything.
Yeah.
It's horrible. But when you drive off that and you're traveling to the next big spot to try to catch a fish that you know is going to get sharked anyway because you're sick of doing what you've done and you just want to try something a bit different, put some jigs down because we don't jig in the shallows as much as we would out the deeper stuff. Just a flare up at 25 knots could just be like on your sounder. It could, if you're not zoomed in, it could be as little as a couple of mil of blue. And yeah, you won't even see the fish sitting up off it when you're traveling at speed. Then I'll turn around and go back and the boys go, what are you going back for? There's something there. And you go back and then you stop the boat and you drift over it and all of a sudden the sounder's got 15 metres of fish off the bottom. It's alive, but you just didn't pick it up going that quick. You just missed that echo somehow. Some sounders are better than others. The one on the Jazz is amazing. I've got the keel mounted in the bottom, 1 kilowatt, nothing special about it. But
you got a fairing block on it?
No, it's just in the bottom of it's literally the bottom of the boat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bottom of the keel. It's cut out, stuck in, drilled a hole.
Yep.
That's it.
You get used to what you're running though, don't you? Like that's the thing. Like if you don't have to have the best outfit, but if you understand how it reads.
Well, I had a nav man, I think it was.
I had one of those on my
original nav man. It was the shittiest thing ever.
They look like a Game Boy, eh?
Yeah. Same scenario. Coming out of Hillary's one day, saw a flare up on my way to a little Sambo lump off Ocean Reef, and stopped. And it was just like it was all sand pretty much, but there must have just been one little chunk of coral. Anyway, and we stopped and we bagged 4 big jewies off something that was probably not even ever fished before. And we never fished it again. We could never catch a fish off it again. It was that small.
Perfect timing.
It was just
for some
right
reason
place,
the fish are hanging
right
there.
time. That was it.
I want to ask you about some other metro fisheries because you've had to pivot your business a little bit in recent years. We know the demersals are under pressure at the moment, and you've started catching some other species. So the likes of tuna, yellowtail kingfish, mulloway, all that sort of stuff.
World record Cobia.
Yes, exactly. We're going to touch on that as well. I want to hear that story again. But
I don't know if I want to tell it.
Tell us about your experience in, like I said, pivoting your business, chasing these other species and what the fisheries are like.
I suppose it's more prevalent now after the meeting that we had today, how important it really is for people to catch different species. If you are still catching demersals and you're upgrading, like a lot of them are, and it's a problem, you do have to do.
You're a fuckwit. I'll say it. You're a fuckwit.
Why?
If you're upgrading, you're a
I
fuckwit.
think you're talking to me.
No, you're not. Sorry, no.
We're stepping outside, son.
You're talking. How dare you?
What the fuck are you talking about?
If you're, I'll say it again. I wouldn't want to fight Clousey.
I was like, Jesus.
If you're, I saw you try and dance around it, but if you're upgrading, you're a fuckwit. You got to have some sort of respect for the fishery.
Everyone to a certain element is guilty of it.
Yeah,
there is no doubting it. But look, the new rules in theory work perfectly. You caught the first 4 demersals and you went and changed your game. Beautiful. But obviously the new rules didn't work.
Yeah.
That's the issue. Now with ourselves, we have a bit of a problem because we have a tag fishery. Once the tags run out, which is about now, we are actually out now, then we have a catch and cook scenario. So we still target pinkies first thing in the morning, and then we try to leave them alone and go and target kingfish, Samson fish, mulloways. Like sub 50 metre mulloway are not an easy target species. They're just not in the same spot all the time. They're more transient fish that are coming in to spawn in the river and the shallows and then going back out into the deep. I'm not a scientific research guy on that sort of stuff, but I find when we find them for a couple of days on that spot and then they're gone. That's it. They don't hang around. Some spots are better than others, obviously, but you won't find those spots until you fished it at the right time. Then you got to try to make a mental note of it. That's the time of year.
Marlies are pretty prone to barotrauma, well, if not more so, I'd say.
Well, they're a good bycatch for us.
Yeah.
Because they're obviously not a tagged fish. It gives the punter something to take home. We try to push the fact that, when we've got tags, it's usually during the winter months, the colder months, there's an incentive for you to get on the boat. Now, in summer, it's not a real big issue for me. We do a bit of crayfishing. Yellowtail kings are more prevalent. The tuna fishery was good a few years ago. Lately, last few years, it's very, very hit and miss. There was one year there where we couldn't miss. They were just a little banked up on anywhere from the back of the 5 all the way through to, mid-30s in metres.
Just Southern Blues or longies?
Just Southern Blues.
What's your techniques, like favourite lures and stuff like that?
Well, believe it or not, we just trawl Z-Mans. Slow.
Yeah, really.
Oh, wow.
That's all we do.
They swim really good when you work them. Yeah.
It's easy. You see a bust up, it's like, hit the horn, right, throw those 5 plastics out the rack. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
And we learned some lessons the hard way about tuna and blood and water and bleeding them in a bucket. It's not a great look. It's like it's a psycho film.
Didn't you told me those little jelly babies as well?
Skirts? Yep.
Yeah. I started using them after you told me about them, and
they work. They work real well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, when a fish is hungry, they're going to eat. As long as you can match the hatch to within reason, it's fine. We had one day, it was weird. We had one plastic that was white on the boat. Just one. They're all rigged up. So back in the day, we didn't use fish bait. Our 10K setups, which were pretty heavy for plastics, but back in the day, it was like you can't give everyone a nice fine rod to use because you end up with a 2-piece in no time. And they were only eating this plastic. So this guy caught 13 fish. No one else caught a thing. And it was the only white plastic we had on the boat that day.
Yeah, right.
And you reckon he would give up with a rod? Not a chance. Literally, by the time we got back to Sardine Jetty, there was a mob ready to lynch him. Yeah, they were not happy.
Everyone's straight to the tackle shop for all the whites off plastics.
Yeah.
Full on. So, but that's actually a good touch point. So you obviously would come across a lot of different people coming on your boat. Have you got any good punter stories? You'd have it, but
we can do a whole YouTube channel on the shit I say.
Yeah.
Literally.
We do
call it fishing on the spectrum in our own time. Like there's chicken wings, there's inverted, there's guys that wind with bail arms open and wonder why the line's not coming on. There's the high sticker. There's the guy that just leaves it in the rod holder all day and doesn't touch his rod, just thinks it's going to do its thing. And, you know, there's a myriad. There's guys that come out with their own concoctions. There's guys that come out with their own like mixture of tuna oil, not whale oil anymore, and like all this disgusting stuff. And it's like, no, that's not coming back on the boat.
Yeah.
It stinks.
Leave that alone. Why would you buy that? You have supplying all that anyway.
But there's like everyone's got an idea, and then you've got the bottom meat brigade, we call them, and they love a bottom meat, and they're a great fishing tool, probably a little bit too good for some people, but they don't match the scenario you're in. So we're in 15 meters of water and they pull out like a 200-gram bottom meat or something. It's like, that's going to be a part of the environment shortly. Yeah. You're not going to get that one back.
Do you ever get the guys that come on the boat and they think all of a sudden they're Captain Drew Clow and
come upstairs, check out the sounder.
Tell you what you're doing wrong?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That would be the most annoying thing running a charter boat is people trying to tell you how to fish.
It's okay if you catch fish.
Yeah.
And they've got nothing to say.
Yes, exactly.
If you don't catch fish, then they've got something to say. I had one guy said he put a review on the website. Good day to waste. Circumnavigated Garden Island. Could have done that in my own boat. Didn't catch anything. Rah, rah, rah. Just bagging me out pretty much. And I was like, mate, do it in your own boat.
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing? Yeah.
Why are you on my boat then if you own it?
You want to whinge about it.
He's on your boat too.
I've got rules on the back of the toilet. There's like party rules and there's fishing rules.
Yeah.
There's like, I should have taken a photo and shown you, but like first rule's no bananas.
Yeah.
And I love it when someone brings a banana having a shit day because it's his fault.
Yeah.
But that's the only problem with charter fishing is you can do everything right and still fail.
Yeah.
It's not like a bricklayer who's got to lay a brick or a plaster that's got to put some plaster sheet up or any other job in the world pretty much. You can do it right and you're fine. But in fishing, you can do everything right and fail.
Yeah. Comes down to whether or not the fish want to play the game.
It would be the worst feeling ever, having a full boat full of people and just not being able to get the fish to bite, seeing them on the sounder and just being like, fucking, what more can I do?
I don't run a sounder downstairs either. So a lot of people run sounders down, like a monitor downstairs.
Yeah.
So they've got to take my word for it. And then, there's some guys that come upstairs, I want to try this spot. I've got a spot. I'm like, where's that?
Actually try and, this is probably a good touch point too.
They want me to fish their spot.
Yeah. I'm
like, where is it? I punch with the Latin longs and it's like, 20 nautical miles northwest of Rottnest or something stupid. I'm like, yeah, mate, by the time we get there, we can turn around and come home.
So speaking of spots, what's the go? Do you see hunters pinching your spots? Or?
Oh, yeah. It's one of the rules, no GPS, no phones. We not quite as extreme as some of the fishing boats around the state that put them in lead lock boxes and put them in there.
They do they?
Yeah, someone in Shark Bay does that, yeah. He don't share his intel with nobody. But we're not spots, we're areas. And we fish areas which have spots in them, but a lot of the time it's being in the right area at the right time that gets you the results. There's no point fishing in 15 metres of water when it's after the full moon,
middle of the day,
low tide, sun's up, sort of crystal clear water. You're not going to catch it. You might catch a flathead or something, or a black ass that's hungry. Pinky's not going to bite in those conditions.
Do you keep a fishing journal, or you're out there enough that you know what works?
No, don't worry about it.
It's all up in your head.
Well, yeah, sometimes
you fish as much as you do.
Sometimes you forget what you've learnt. I tell my kids, I've forgotten more than you know. That's my favourite one for the kids.
What about Metro Sambo fishery? Did you ever get right into that? Because that was red hot for a while there.
I was probably towards the end of we've done it. We did it when the demersal ban kicked in, and we said, let's start doing these sandbait charters. Everyone else seems to be doing it. But there was a shark issue. I think one day we did one charter, we advertised it, we went out, and I moved spots every time. Like we fished anything from like in the 30s all the way throughout to the wrecks and all the rest of it. And we moved every time. On that day, I reckon we probably hooked in excess of 80 fish. We landed like 3 or 5.
Wow.
Hectic. So they all got sharked.
Everything. Even when we found the fish that didn't get sharked, by the second time we dropped on them, we got sharked.
You get one crack at them.
Sharks should be hungry. I don't think people are fishing there anymore, so they have to fight for their own meals.
Have you got a theory on what should be done with the sharks?
Oh, yeah. Look, there's no doubting it. I mean, I know shark finning around the world's a bad thing. It's something that's frowned upon. It's not utilising the full beast. But the problem is with sharks now is they're so big they can't be utilised for much more than shark fin and fertiliser.
Is that because they're so full of mercury or whatever?
Yeah, mercury and ammonia. And
I think once they get over about 1.8, that's why there's a maximum size limit on it. But it's mercury, isn't it?
Yeah, there's all sorts of.
So they do use them for fertiliser.
When I was in Broome and we were shark fishing, we didn't have refrigeration, so it was all iced, which is, if you ever smelled a shark in an esky, which you have, times that by thousands and put it in an ice box, and then you'll imagine what the ammonia was like. It was ridiculous. But we were getting good money for the fins, and I think it was $1.50 by weight for the barrels, and it cost us $1.50 to get them to Perth. So it was just covering its cost because it was a fisheries regulation that every set of fins had to have the body to go with it. Sometimes you just pull up a head and you take the 2 pectorals off it and you just chop a bit of meat and then it just go in the hole, which would correspond to the fish that only had 2 fins. But really there was no real way of knowing because we had so many different bite-offs by other sharks eating their own species that couldn't really tell.
Was the finning lucrative?
I think it was okay. I think, we weren't set up well.
Yep.
We were a bit of not a cowboy show, but we weren't doing it well.
Yeah.
There's probably a market for it now because of the fact that they've cut back, and I think around the world sharks are in danger. I don't think around Western Australia they're in danger. And there's obviously a market there that they could utilise as uncultured as it is to have shark fin shoot in some places.
It's a hard one.
Yeah,
I don't know enough
speaking about neither do I, but speaking about Hong Kong earlier when I was there for a work trip probably about 8 years ago now, there was a full market for shark fin food. And there was people everywhere. It was full.
They love it.
Pretty full on.
Yeah.
But they love everything.
Apart from killing them, have you come up with any tactics, along your way that maybe decrease the amount of shark depredations that you have? Or you just moving spots? So have you tried any of those?
So we get certain months of the year in Fremantle where they're bad. I think it varies a bit each year. Water temperature's got a fair bit to do with it. Crayfishing has a fair bit to do with it when, after the whites. The whites aren't actually that bad. So there's so much bait in the water. There's so many people out pulling pots and throwing off and discarding their old bait. They're not super bad at that time of year. They're around. You see them more than you ever see them. But after that, I think you get them so full and then you take off to the deeps and they lose out a bit there because not everyone goes to deep water. Only the pros go out there really, and the odd wood duck that needs to prove himself in 100 fathoms of water for some weird reason. And then they get hungry and they're in the area and then they bring them back from deep water into the, fish for reds. And they just seem a little bit more savage in late February, March.
Yep.
They're just hungrier because they've been fed so well for so long. They come back inside and they're like, still hungry.
Let's go.
Where's that smorgasbord we had a few months ago?
All right. Well, I want to change tacks now because I want to ask you about some of the memorable catches you've had on board. Now, we're going to talk about the Cobia. I want to get your perspective on that again for the people that didn't hear previously, but I have scrolled back through your social media and I remember seeing this Black Marlin behind Rotto on a snelled rig going for snapper. Tell us about.
Why?
Yeah,
that was quite funny. That was quite funny. So it was literally the last drift of the day. It probably wasn't a great day. If you got me out at the back of Rotto, it's because it was a tough day.
Yep.
I've done the miles to get the smiles, they say. There was an old fellow on the boat, riddled with cancer, probably his last hurrah to a certain extent. His kids lived over here. He was from the UK, I'm pretty sure. It was a farewell, say goodbye to the kids sort of thing I'm checking out. Hadn't caught anything all day, probably never got to the bottom. I can guarantee you he never got to the bottom on this drop because I marked the fish on the sounder and went, shark's here. And then his line took off. And I'm like, all right, that's it. Got the shark. Time to go home. That's my final siren.
You're pushing the button.
That's how I did the final siren for the day. That's my little thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, this thing's taken off and it's jumped. And it actually looked like a shark when it jumped. I don't know if it was just the angle it was on. And I said, Mako. The guy next to me upstairs said Mako. Someone downstairs said Mako. And I went, yeah. They'll bust us off in no time on that, 60-pound bloody leader and 50-pound mainline. I was going downstairs and I looked out port side and there's this marlin just tail walking
No way.
down the side of the boat. I'm just like, it's not a shark.
How deep were you?
50 metres.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know where I was. I know exactly where I was. I fished that. It's a little lump in the middle of nowhere. It's not the middle of nowhere, but it's on its own. Anyway, he grabbed a couple of lines on the way past somehow. It must have been a bit of drift or tide that day. So it's gone past and connected about 3 or 4 lines on the way past. And there's no easy way of doing it. And so I've just walked down with a pair of scissors and just gone, pull those in.
Yeah.
You guys wind up your slack. And we just followed this marlin. We started off on the stern of the boat, but single screw, marlin, not as easy to back up onto a fish as you would imagine. Then you got the bow thruster trying to help you to make corners and stuff. And bow thrust is electric, so that lasts all of about 4 or 5 minutes until it goes, done.
Yeah.
The old guy didn't have it in him, and he was a left-hander. We had a bro on board, the Maori bloke, and he was like, yeah, bro, I'll give me a go, choice. And he's grabbed the rod. He's been up on the bow trying to fight it. We were driving after it. And it went on for about, 40, 50 minutes. It went on for ages. And it was a glass off. Absolute mirror.
Oh, how good.
And there's good footage of it, actually. There's some really good shots.
It's wicked footage.
You have to send it to us.
Anyway, I said, well, what do you guys want to do with it? Oh, you're coming home with me. You're like, fuck, all right, I'll go get the gaff. So I had this big tuna gaff downstairs. It's so ridiculous. It's what? Stupid. It's like broadbill, swordfish style gaffing. Anyway, luckily, it's like got to the marlin board, went under the marlin board. It had jumped a few times. We touched the leader, so to speak. So it was technically a capture. And then it just did one last jump, part of the line, and off she went.
See you later.
And as we were pulling into the jetty, there was a camera crew there. And because I'd done the live video, everyone's going, there's a camera crew waiting for us. And we're pulling in and they're videoing us. And we're like, it's only a fish. And I said, what are you here for, marlin? And they're like, no, we're here for fishability with friends.
You thought you were
no, sorry, mate, wrong boat.
Was the old boy stoked? Or
Yeah, what a way to go out.
He was
if that
happy.
was the
Actually,
case.
his son came to pick him up and brought down a carton of piss for everyone to have a drink and talk about it. It was really good. It was really good.
That's great. That would have to make
That's a
you
feel good story.
It was a good story.
For sure, epic. So let's go to the Cobia Classy because, so give us a recap. So earlier in the year, I think we had Scotty Coughlin on. I think it was our first day recording leg of the podcast.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so first day we batch recorded a bunch and we got news that morning that a massive cobia had just been landed. I think a few of my mates were on the boat with you or whatever. I'd seen some, Instagram stories and whatnot, and this chocky log was like nothing else we've ever seen.
It was a log and a half.
Yeah, so give us a rundown
of
what happened on that day.
So it was my mate's son's 21st. He's a commercial fisherman. His son's a commercial fisherman. His mate's a commercial fisherman. So
makes a lot of sense now.
There was a fair few blokes on the boat that were commercial with a commercial background. fair bit of enjoying the day going on, in celebrating the moment. It was really bad bite. It was really slow. I hooked a yellowfin tuna. Yellowfin tuna, yeah, yellow. Early in the piece, but I only had it on 40-pound leader, and it was like a barrel. Like it just took off and just parted the leader. I was like, well, that one didn't. Oh, bad luck. Then went out to the yellowtail king spot. Same thing, I've got a little dewy or something, nothing major. And Cobia was on the bow, nice young bloke, commercial lobster, octopus fisherman from up at
Is it Jurien?
He's in Jurien.
Yeah, Jurien, I think. Yeah,
good kid, or young man. And he's up there. I'm like, what are you doing? He snagged, mate. No, something there, and I don't look like it. Snagged at me, and then I noticed it going through the cabbage. You could see it was deep in the reef somewhere, and it was sort of like you could see it. I thought he's going to separate any second now. It's not going to last long.
Just waiting for him to bust off.
Yeah, just waiting for him to bust off, and then it got out of the cabbage and made its way off the edge of the reef, and it was in the sand, and it was just down. It wasn't dean dirty. It was just down. It was
just heavy.
Well, you can imagine sort of like it wouldn't even really know it was hooked. It would be like.
Yeah. It was on P3, wasn't it?
Yeah, P3. Yeah.
Yes, it wouldn't have been putting much drag
with
on
a 40-pound, yeah, with a Z-Man on a 7.0 TT jig head.
Yeah.
And the sardine pattern, I believe they call it. Close sardine or something. Anyway, I'm like, come on, mate. Bust it off. Come on, let's go.
You were telling him to bust
it off, mate. Come on. What are you doing? Stop fucking around. Bust it off. You got a shark or a stingray, mate. Like, seriously.
And what's his reaction to
it?
I
want to see it. And his mate, it's a 30-kilo Jew. And they're all charged up, They're having a good old day, drinking their own bathwater and believing all they want. And anyway, I'm like, whatever, mate. You do you. I said, we're off the lump anyway, so like, whatever. And this went on for some time. I'm like, come on, mate, just bust it off. Well, someone else wants to catch a fish. No, I'm getting some on it. And this thing's just like flat. It's like, I don't lift that rod up any higher, mate. Like you literally at 9 degrees, you're not going any higher. Like that's it. You go up further, something's going to let go because he's just spooling it, like hanging onto it. Little 6K Saragossa is just like stalled up.
Yeah.
Not happening. Anyway, this goes on for like 10, 15 minutes. And he starts getting a metre at a time. I'm like, mate, this is the stingray, bro. Like you got a big flat ray and it's just slowly coming up. We're going to be here for another hour or two.
Yeah.
Anyway, he goes, no, it's coming. It's coming. Okay, no, you are getting a little bit on it. Starts a little bit. I think the fish was more curious to going, what the fuck's going on here? Why have I got this imaginary thing pulling
pop up and have a look at these idiots?
So another 10 minutes goes past and it starts coming up. And then this thing comes out of the water a bit like a submarine. And it comes up head first, and then head goes down and the tail comes up and it goes back down again. And this is probably about 25, 30 metres in front of the boat. And I'm like, fuck is that?
Yeah.
So when it first came out, its head was so broad and dark. I was like, had to be some sort of a shark, but it's not acting like a shark. It's not taking screaming runs. It's not shaking its head. It's doing pretty much bugger all. And then the tail came out, and I'm like, well, first I thought, that's bloody big Port Jackson shark. And I've got some big Port Jacksons at Trig and stuff like that as a young bloke. And I'm like, geez, what is it?
Way too big.
And then when its tail came out, it was a sturgeon fish or something. Like, what's going on here?
Well, that's doing
I just couldn't figure it out.
It was a complete dinosaur.
But at that point, were you thinking to yourself, well, definitely fucking don't bust that? Or were you thinking
at that stage, I'm like, I want to see what it is.
Yeah.
So it was in front of the boat. So I drove up on it. He was up on the bow at that stage. And it swam towards the boat. And he's like, and I'm driving towards it. So he's going pretty quick on it. And it swam straight down the side of the boat. I'm like,
but you being upstairs, you would have seen it.
Shit. Don't touch your spool. That's all I said.
Start telling him
your spool.
All of a sudden, things got
serious. Don't touch your spool.
Yeah.
Get down the back. Make your way down the back. Like
you knew what it was.
Straight. As soon as I saw it, I knew what it was. It was like there was no, and it wasn't far. It was like literally maybe a metre under the surface when it swam straight bird's eye view, straight down.
Oh, fuck. I wish I saw your face.
Hard on the phone. I'm like, heartbreaking. I said, mate, state, you would not fucking believe.
Yeah.
This is the biggest cave I've seen in my life in Fremantle right now. He's like, you're joking. I said, nah, it's ridiculous. Stay on the phone.
Yeah.
And then we persisted. And then it took off. Did some runs, went down, came up, went down, came up, went down, came up. And I just like, take it easy. Just take it easy. I want to see this fish. I've got to see it. Like I couldn't handle having it break off at that point. And luckily enough, it swam too close to the marlin board and got it close enough. And then young Harley slipped the gaff under its chin and nice big fat surface under there to slip the gaff into. And young Lucas Tapper jumped on the pole with him and ripped it up over the side. And the rest is history. Not the best social media history one's ever come across. Got a fair bit of fucking slack for that one. You fucking yobbo gronks, they reckon.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what? Unless you were there, you couldn't really experience it. You can say what you want. The fish was dispatched soon afterwards with a spike. It wasn't bled because we thought, well, this is...
Yeah, well, that's a good tip, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We put it in the 250 or whatever litre esky, and it was pretty much the head and part of the body, and the rest of it was just hanging out. And we put some ice on it and threw some towels and stuff over it. Measured it at time of capture was like, I think it was like 203 or 7. I can't really remember what it was at the time.
Centimetres.
Fucking hell, dude.
Centimetres, yeah.
And
Wow.
you're automatically, were you just thinking, that's a world?
Well, I didn't know what the world record was.
Yeah.
But I'd called it for 80 kilos on deck. I went, that's a fucking 80 kilo fish, or close to. Because there was lots of people saying different things. Then I rang up a few people, and I think Mitch Palmer, Mitchy, mate, rocked up with his ute. He was going to take it back to my place, and then we did a photo shoot with Chester. But in the process to getting there, it was like, who do I use to weigh this thing to see if it is a world record? And it was the Perth Game Fishing Association, John Kramer, I think his name is, came down, and we already had certified scales due to the lobster fishery down there. So he had his crane scales or something which we didn't need. We unloaded it onto the boat. Poor young fella was trying to lift it up. Something broke and he tripped over and sliced his ankle on the back of the stainless steel scales. Had to go to hospital, get bloody stitches and shit. It was his 21st, poor Lucas. Anyway, no one gave a shit. Like it was even the girls that were there for the day, they hung around. Like strippers, these are the first ones off the boat.
Okay, so the strippers had some entertainment.
Yeah, the strippers hung around. I got some photos I can show you guys later. And when it was a great experience for everyone on board.
The day of days.
Yes, some of the video footage of that. They're commercial fishermen. They're not PGFA bloody certified line class fishermen that have a great moral respect for fish. It's their livelihood. They see it as a means to an end to get paid every day, and that fish, unfortunately, was no different. Not saying that all commercial fishermen are like that.
Young guys having a day out.
They're on the piers. They're having a good time. They're not thinking about the ramifications of slapping a fish. Like I've seen so many people slap a pinky on the beach and no one says a fucking word. But all of a sudden you've got a 6 foot plus fish getting slapped and the world's stopping. You know what I mean?
Mate, I hate it. I reckon, you got to use your brain a little bit when you're criticising people. It's like, what's the difference between a cow and an ant? They both have a life.
I have problems with people thinking that one creature is any more sensual than another or the rest. I've said everything has a right to live until it doesn't.
Yeah, until something bigger in the food chain comes along and outsmarts
we're at the very end of that food chain, unless we're in the jungle somewhere, and then we might not be so at the end of it unless we've got a 300 under our arm. That's probably a story.
So what did the fish weigh in at?
It was 79.6, I believe.
What
yes,
fish.
Massive.
Actually, I can't even remember.
The photo of the boys holding it up, like that, you can see the stress in their face as they're trying to pick it up. Like they're literally about to blow up a valve.
You don't understand. This is big slimy brown sausage you're trying to hang on to. It ain't easy, mate. Yeah. It's like it's
dead
covered
weight
in KY too. It's like it's ridiculous.
And that's got to be the best catch you've ever had on your charters.
Yeah,
by a mile,
probably.
Yeah, mate.
So what was the record before that?
Beat by 10 kilos or something.
No, more. It was like, nearly 20 pounds, I think it beat it by.
Holy moly.
And that was caught in Shark Bay.
Was that speared or
that had been like
hand line, I believe.
30 or 40-year record or
Yeah,
something.
it's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you hear the stories of, I've seen them bigger. Oh, I caught one bigger, but I let it go. So,
Where's the photo?
yeah.
Whatever, mate.
We had someone on the podcast that reckoned they'd seen some huge cobia up
Yeah.
north, but
You do
79
see them, don't get me
kilos.
wrong. Like, seeing fish in the water too, until you've actually got one on deck, you don't give it the justice that it probably deserves. I remember the first time I went to catch crayfish as a kid in Calbarry, my dad gave me a gidgee. Let's go get some crayfish. I was none the wiser. I just went out and speared the first crayfish I saw. Back in the day, it wasn't. Back in those days,
It was the Wild West.
Yeah,
mate.
it was Wild West. And then I saw it underwater. It looked bloody huge. When I pulled it out, it was about this big. Divers have got a lot to learn.
Yeah, everything looks a little bit bigger.
Before
You gotta be
we-
careful when you're spearing too.
We had a huge amount of viewer questions come in. So before we get to that, before we move on, you mentioned Steve Hart before. He did throw a little bit of shade your way when I sent out a text.
Again, the shade that I was talking about. Here we go.
Now, yeah, you do.
You
sound
two are
like-
the biggest ball busters as well. I've been around the tours together. It's pretty funny.
He said, I'll just throw them out there. So this is what it sounds like to fish with you. He said, just mention these stories. So we'll go through them quickly because we've been going for a while. He said, just ask him about the tiny tuna in Exmouth that took him ages to land that he thought was an absolute monster. He said, bring up the smashed Boston whaler kill tank when he was bashing a Mackie on my boat, and the broken rod when he was striking like a wild man and he hit the T-top on my Boston whaler, and then he blamed the T-top for not being taller.
That's pretty funny.
Wow. The first one I can actually look. I got this reel off I don't know, his marketplace Gumtree. It was back in the day. It was an old beat up ex-commercial 50 wide or something, and I went and got it, relaid new line on it and stuff and whatever. And we'd been trawling all day. I've never caught a marlin. That was the skipper. I've never caught a marlin.
Yep.
I've never caught any billfish for that matter, still to this day.
Yeah, right.
So we're going to catch Drew a billfish. Anyway, it's green water. We went left from town a bit. I think we almost got to Coral Bay. We went that bloody far to try to find some water. And we get this bite. And Steve's so excited, he's put the throttle down on the Boston. And I reckon he cleared the spread for about a mile. And this thing was like so far out the back. And the reel I had, it was one of my, I think it was on the reel that I brought with me. Now, I'd never got it serviced. And after we'd caught the fish, yes, I was puffing and panting. It was only about yay big, but it was a long wind in after he fucked off to bloody back up to Darwin. The fucking thing was seizing. So the bearings inside it was seizing. And so it was twice as hard to wind. That was my excuse. And I'm fucking sticking to it.
Well, what's the excuse for smashing in his kill tank
Well,
and then
who
snapping
has
the
a metal bat on a fiberglass boat?
rod? You deserve it.
He deserves it. And the T-top one, well, that was just a strike on a bar arm that wasn't in the roller.
Yeah.
That is just bang, all over.
Doing.
That was pretty mild from Steve.
Now,
There's a lot more shit he could have said.
Well,
he did actually sent me this photo. I want to show you this, Rothy, and we can talk about it. You're going to like this one. Have a look at that.
Scary.
Hook through the hand. Hook through the hand after you were catching a bread.
That wasn't even very nice of those boys. They just kept fishing.
No, but have a look where the scissors
Look
are.
at where the pliers are.
So
I'm stuck.
you've snookered yourself. You can't get those scissors off your
So do you know
or
what that-
pliers off your hand because you've got. So what it
fish-
is, let
the
me
fish
explain
it
it to the
was.
listeners real quick. So Drew's basically got his fingers through mini split ring pliers with what looks to be a brim, like a tiny little stick bait, maybe 25 mil, if that. And he's got it's basically like a scissor sort of setup. And he's got the treble hook stuck in his thumb, but the scissors / pliers, whatever they
on my
are
thumb.
slid down his thumb further so he can't get the pliers off his thumb now. That is amazing.
That's a pisser, right?
That is a fuck up of the week. But it was a big guardie. We were down south brim fishing, and this guardie's jumped on. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. One of Scotty's stick baits I stole out of his tub. The only one I've ever got off him. Because they were fishing well. And as I've gone down to just dehook it, it's done like a disco
Spasm.
move. jumped
worm.
up and pinned me thumb with the treble.
Pretty deep in there too.
Oh, I had to actually squeeze the life out of that poor guardian, de-hook it off the other end of the lure, and then hoik it over the side in disgust. While they persisted in laughing and casting lures, while I was just stuck with this lure.
no one offered to help.
I couldn't do anything about it. It was horrible.
And they just kept fishing?
They did.
Oh, beautiful. Love that.
That's
I
got to
remember
be
that. I
got to
remember
be your
that.
biggest wood duck moment or one of.
It's lightweight.
Yeah, well, before we go to the listener questions, you've got a couple of fucking wood duck moments we mentioned, but have you got an all-time fuck up?
No, it didn't fuck up, but it could have been catastrophic.
Yeah.
So on our way to mackerels a few years ago now, we were just
So Mackerel Islands off Onslow.
yeah.
everyone?
So coming up. I don't know if we were just coming towards Geraldton, and it's like the first of the flowery. What are they? Because what's that shit?
What, like the wildflowers?
No, the stuff they grow, canola.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the start of the canola fields as you come up to the south end of Geraldton before the S Bend, and we haven't got a strap on the back of the boat. The 7.4 meter Ramco hasn't got the strap over the back because I'm like, mate, they don't jump off the fucking trailer. Fucking thing's got like 500 litres of fuel, 15 wallets of jigs, $200,000 worth of fishing reels plus all the bullshit, plus food, drinks, booze, the whole lot. It's not going anywhere. It's stuck on the trailer. Anyway, we come around the corner and I felt the boat jerk. I looked in the revision mirror. I said, boys, what's going on with the boat back there? And you know, I'd imagine there's four of us in a Land Cruiser with the boat, the back of the car's full of shit, and they're pushing shit down, going, oh, yeah, nah, it's fucking, the rope snapped. Was it safety chain on? He goes, yeah, safety chain's on. There's more to this story. So anyway, when we pull up on the side of the road, so we get over this hill and we get down, and there's we just pull over to the right-hand side against it, like across the traffic. There was a farm entrance there with a nice bit of flat gravel. We pull up and we feel the boat go forward on the roller trailer back into its position. We all get out of the car, go to the boat. There's nothing on the fucking boat. At all.
No winch, no chain.
So the safety chain, we have a hook that we usually winch up on the rope.
Yep.
Now that had straightened out or something. So we utilised the safety chain D-shackle, tied that to the rope originally, and utilised that, leaving nothing on the safety chain. And I had a little stainless steel shackle in the car. So we just utilised that. It would be coming back from crayfishing or something, like just throw a safety chain on there just for shit sinking.
Yeah.
We'll be right. And never changed that safety chain shackle since that day. Went on the trip. Now, as it jerked back, it didn't snap. It pretty much pulled the thread out of it, and it was probably still locked in there. But as it went forward and the pressure released, the pin just fell off. So the boat was just sitting on the trailer.
What boat's this, by the way?
There's a 4.7 meter Ramco.
Right. Not
New
familiar
Zealand
with
boat.
it.
No.
Okay.
You won't see many of those around.
Fuck.
So that could have been the most catastrophic fuck off of my life.
Yeah.
But
We got away with it.
Well, yeah, we dodged that bullet.
Makes it even better.
Lesson learned.
You would have been slapping high fives after that, haven't you?
Mate, we were fucking just like, I had that. Literally, like the next hill would have been just on the road.
Yeah.
next
How
hill.
can you imagine just turning around and
Like,
looking
where's
off the
the boat
trailer
gone?
and there's a boat sitting just like down the highway?
Oh, mate,
That's your worst nightmare.
There'd be some bad ones out there, I reckon, from our listeners that, you know, we've had a few get called in. We want to start next episode. I reckon we'll give the listeners a way to get their own wood duck questions in, so we can actually play them through this thing and everyone else can hear them rather than my dyslexic self trying to read them all out. But
on that, I did speak to a mate who had a pretty funny wood duck story the other day. He went up and fished the Mackerel Islands as well recently and kept sending me photos of these fish. And he was like, mate, 16 kilo red emperor. And I was like, 16 kilo, that's a big red emperor. But I was like, well
State
done, bro.
record.
yeah, I was about to say that'd be state record.
Well done, mate. Well done. Yeah, and I was thinking, fuck, 16 kilo. Anyway,
You want to name him or?
yeah, he said to call him Scales as a bit of an alias because he
doesn't read scales too well.
Yeah, so Scales because they had their scales in pounds. So anyway, and he said go double check with the weights down at the Mackerel Islands. Didn't look at it closely. That was in pounds as well, but that's not actually the biggest fuck up. Is they use the same scales for their
fillets.
Oh no!
So they've spent all this money and done this big trip, and
for the future.
Yeah,
not so much.
So they're only allowed to bring a certain amount of fillets back, and they brought half the weight that they were allowed to bring back. Because
at least you brought half, and you didn't bring double.
Yeah, so it was in pounds. So half of their legal limit came back with them. So well done, scales.
That's pretty funny.
That's a fucker.
That's a good one. So before we move on to the listener questions and the quick fire, what's the date today? It's the 20th of October. So today there's been, I don't even know how they labelled it today, but you guys have just come out of Parliament House basically.
Fishing Futures meeting.
Rotto.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it was.
It's on that bit of paper there.
So it's, what is it? It's all the stakeholders, industry stakeholders for
Fishing Futures Forum.
Righto. Okay. So give us a rundown on basically quick snapshot of what it was and how it panned out, because we know that there's some science that's recently come out that's going to affect us going forward.
Yeah, well, basically it was some of the key stakeholders from across different sectors. Like you mentioned, it was at Parliament House. So Drew was there because he's a charter operator. There was commercial guys there. I was there as part of the media recreational sort of role. Some other guys there as well, but it was basically the whole West Coast region.
Yep.
And there's a bit of a review going on at the moment because some of the science has come back and it's not really a good outlook when you dive deep into it. So I think it's basically there's going to be some changes coming. And it was a bit of a brainstorming / entry into where the science is at for us. So it was a big day, and there was a lot of different personalities there. I don't know how you felt about it, Drew, but I would say get ready for some changes when it comes to demersal fishing.
I think that's definitely on the table.
Right.
It is on the table.
Were they floating any sort of ideas or
that was
putting anything
pretty
out
much
to you
an
guys?
ideas seminar, I suppose, from our point of view. They were asking us what we thought would make the changes. What would you recommend we do was more their agenda. But I mean, I suppose
is that just lip service?
There was a bit of fluffing involved, no doubt. But
it's part of it is like you can see how serious the government are taking it. You know, the Premier was there, the Minister for Fisheries was there. It was at Parliament House in the chamber.
We're in the chambers, yeah. It was.
Drew was in a suit.
I was suited up.
Drew was in a suit. I was in a flannel shirt with.
Maybe you are a fuckwit.
You were
too. I was a bit underdressed for the occasion, but look, it's
a serious thing. It's serious.
It is.
Yeah.
The West Coast region is in. I think. Well, I don't remember what the terminology was. Severe. I think that's the Pilbara region severe as well.
Yep.
There's two of us.
The Gascoigne's the only one that
Gascoigne's still not great, but recovering at a better rate than everything else. Mainly pink snapper, I'd imagine. It showed that a lot of industries were trying to get changes earlier in the piece, but the political side of it, they didn't want to handle it. So there was recommendations for originally 4 months. They got to 2. Originally it was going to be 9 months. It went back to 6. There was a lot of politics involved in the fishery, I believe, and I think it should just relate down to the science. At the end of the day, if you've got all the boxes ticked and you know where you stand and the fishery isn't that dire, you need to do something dire to help it recover. But that doesn't always mean there's lots of other contributing factors to fisheries with like heat waves and currents and pollution, and there's a lot of stuff that they did in South Australia that might not work for us, and in parts of South Australia it didn't work either.
Yeah,
they've had it shut for 6
years now. I think
6 years, and I think they got a 6% increase in one of the Gulfs.
That was due. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, none of us are scientists here, but was that due to it basically was algae in such a shitty place when they got to putting in the restrictions that they didn't have enough fish there to have the recruitment?
Biomass was pretty low, but I think we're in the same situation. I just think it's a different fishery. And
this is all affected by habitat, currents, like you said, temperature.
Yeah, and you can see some of the graphs when there was these big recruitment years, and there was no different. It wasn't like the biomass was actually going down, yet the recruitment was rather large. So it didn't correspond to how many fish you had naturally in your biomass. It was just that all the elements were good. Because I see these big fish are throwing hundreds of thousands of eggs, you know, and as a schooling group, it's millions, possibly billions. So if Mother Nature ticks the box and goes, we're on for a good one, you could have recovery within 10, 15 years. But that's without the pressures of recreational sectors and commercial sectors, charter sectors.
And it takes a little while to understand if you've had a good recruitment year as well.
Yeah, because they start off as something you can't see. Then within 3 weeks, I think they go to where they want to be on the bottom. But at one time, they're part of the plankton family. The next minute, they're making a home. And then you can imagine what a little fish like this has got to have to survive for the next,
Oh, yeah.
even
Where they end up
now. Even with the 80 centimetres, they're still going to survive from some sort of predator.
Yeah. So basically, we don't want to be that generation that lets future generations down by not doing something at the right sticking point.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that it's happening, I guess. Well, not good that, it ended up how it has, but
it has to happen.
Finally, there's a meeting going on and they're looking at how they can make it recover. So, yeah, you'd rather, I guess, have these restrictions come in now and prevent further, destruction of the
Everyone's
fishery.
so much better at fishing.
Yeah.
Even like the bad guys are catching fish.
Well,
That's the thing.
We've spoken about this. There's more spots available through, them getting passed around.
Navionics and
yep, exactly.
reveals.
Oh, you can watch
reveal.
YouTube too and figure out how to do it pretty quick.
Listen to us. We'll tell you where they are.
Yeah.
They do though, but there's been plenty of people that have
decent.
jumped on and told people how to catch fish in the shallows, and if they paid attention, their catch rates would go up.
Yeah, it's a pretty good recipe.
Yeah.
Let's hope we find the right spot and like I said, Billy and Rex and Molly and all those guys can catch fish when they grow up too.
Yeah,
That's what it's
hopefully
all
we can
about.
all work together and, everybody can kind of pitch in and we get the right outcome.
Let's go to listener questions. Listener questions. Rothy, you got a couple? We had so many listener questions sent. I've said it 3 times. We've had so many questions sent in. I think the most out of anyone that we've had to date.
Oh,
so
feeling special.
yeah,
Thanks, mate.
you must have some good customers. Rothy, you want to kick us off?
Yeah,
or-
so I think a couple of them we've answered. So Levi DeBoni asked best story of someone using personal navionics on a charter. So we kind of covered that. So we've got a funny one here. We'll kick it off with that. And it's in relation to your 2 deckhands that you got. One of them now skippers a boat for you. So this one's from Mick Parker, former guest of the potty, great fisherman himself. Sort of one of the boys amongst the crew. If Max and Harley sank Jazz and both blamed each other, who would you believe first?
Jeez, that's a.
So Max
They're
and
both
Harley,
so full of shit.
Harley's
really.
Drew's deckhand.
I think Harley would sink it and Max would try to cover for him.
Oh, that's a good friend at least.
That's how I reckon it would
the
happen.
boys
It wasn't
together.
his fault.
Nice.
All right.
Hooligans, you go one, Lec.
All right, what do we got here? All right, what do you look for when you're trying to find kings around Rotto?
Look, they're a pelagic fish. They're up high in the water column a lot of time when they are feeding. Bird life is key. If you can find little white birds working bait, that bait's getting pushed up. And 9 times out of 10, if you're around Rottnest, West End area, it'll be yellowtail kings that are pushing them up.
There you go. So birds on top, kings underneath.
One of the best sessions we had was last year or the year before was we went to the normal spot, which is a quite common spot on the West End on the south side. There was a boat diving on it. When there's divers on that spot, you might as well just forget it. It's just not worth it. I pulled up because he didn't have a dive flag, but I could see he was in the water. I could visually see him. And I've pulled up about 15 metres away from him and he starts waving his arms around. And I just went with a sloppy hand. He's turned around, looked back up at the boat and sorry, didn't put my dive flag up. Like, I can see everything that's happening from where I am. I know how many people were in the water, where they were. I was just giving him the shits because he didn't have his flag up.
Yeah.
And then I noticed a splash off in the distance. And I think Finn Parr was on the boat that day. And I said, mate, grab me rod, go up the front, have a cast. And had a cast, nothing. So I drove up a bit closer, have another cast, nothing. Drove up a bit further, thought, well, must be past it by now. Had a cast. And as he was winding the plastic in quickly, there must have been 15 to 20 yellowtail kings up. Like not
Chasing
getting,
it
not he
down.
was going
No
pretty
way.
quick.
I've never had that. Like
It was
that.
ridiculous. And this was like out in 30 odd meters of water.
Big fish?
Good fish, yeah, all good fish, all up over a metre. Which you don't always see at that end. Sometimes they're all rats. It's like a migratory thing. Sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small, sometimes they're mixed, sometimes you get donkeys in with the little ones. Anyway, I went downstairs and I tipped everyone's bucket over the side of the boat. It was glass off, absolute glass off. Just tipped everyone's bait over the side and they go, "What, we finished?" I said, "No, go get some fresh bait." Because I realised how many fish were there.
Yeah.
I thought we're going to have some fun here, boys. And for the next hour, we caught and released in excess of 80 yellowtail kings. Kept a few for feed. A shark showed up, little short, smaller, bronzy. The shark rod came out. We took him home instead. Let the king swim and took home the shark.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing session. One guy took, I think he caught 13 or 14.
Was that recently?
This was a year ago, I reckon.
Okay.
There was some good sessions recently as well.
I saw Braids caught one on a bait caster on your boat recently.
Look, it's like when they're on, they're on. They're one of those fish that can frustrate you. We were there the other day and there were fish everywhere. They would eat the chum, but they wouldn't tuck anything else.
I hate that. What about, here's a good question. What's the biggest snapper you've caught on, Jazz?
Now, there's a gentleman that reckons he caught a 107.
Yeah, right.
I don't remember it being 107. But fishermen and bullshit go hand in hand. So I'd say it was probably over a metre. We had a metre last year. I think it was about 103, 104.
Wow, that's a big fish.
That is a big fish. So 2 people asked that question. Actually, we'll just give them a quick shout out. So that was Alex.Fisho and young Ollie Headley from Complete Angling Netherlands both asked the biggest snapper. So
we did get a few just plain snapper.
Yeah.
Rothy told people
so I was like, stop asking shit questions. Don't just write snapper. I think we got probably about 10 people saying snapper.
That's part of the spectrum.
Before we wrap this up, have you got any other listener questions you want to ask?
No, we've pretty much touched on all of them. A lot of them were asking about the future of the demersal fishery and giving me shit saying snapper. I think that pretty well covers it. But thanks for listening to questions, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Wicked. We've added a new little thing to our nice studio, Rothy. Now, we offer the guests a chance to bring in a lure.
Wall of Fame. Sorry, it took me a while to catch on there. Still news.
What happened to that pizza you ordered?
It's out the front. Do you want me to go get it?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I ordered a pizza.
Come on, hold out.
I can handle it.
Yeah.
All right, so Wall of Fame, Classy. So you've been given the rundown for anybody that hasn't listened to our last episode with Chris Dixon. It hasn't actually come out yet, but yeah, he's the first one on the Wall of Fame. You can donate a lure to the Wall of Fame, mate, and that's your little piece that I guess stays with Tall Tales. So what have you brought in for us to have a look at?
I brought a bit of a mixture. I have to admit, there was a few things that I wanted to explain to you guys, and obviously we touched on the soft plastics.
Yep.
And the evolution of soft plastics from Mad Eyes to Z-Mans to now Live Ops. It's flavour of the month.
Yep.
At the end of the day, if fish are hungry, they're going to eat most things most days if they're hungry.
Yep.
Lures are
If
that
they're
good
not,
these days.
You can change it up. And like I said that day, there was colours. The white plastic killed it all. So for argument's sake, I don't even remember red tank lures.
Yeah, we spoke about that last episode.
Hand carved lures. He also brought out this little beast here. It's just obviously a wide through
Reload. Red
resin.
Tank Reload is
it's
that.
a reload. It's just got a name. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now that's something
120,
I cast quite regularly up north for pelagics and reef species. It's pretty much an all rounder.
I'm very familiar with that lure.
Basic, but does the job. Another one you do a bit of a lower profile one. I think that's a monsoon breaker or something.
Another wicked lure.
Another great little lure. Upgrade the hooks.
That's deadly, that.
So those 2 that you've actually pulled out there, Classy. So I caught my PB Spango on, this is about you, not me. I'm making it about me. But I caught my PB Spango on that, and that's another good Spango lure that I like.
I always love white.
Yeah.
When it comes to a plastic, there's something about it. It's like it's a versatile color. It does everything. Back in my earlier years, living in Broome, I probably caught my first barra on this.
Yep.
You
Is
know,
that exact lure or less?
possibly. I don't know. It went back in the
I've
box.
got the exact same lure hanging
green.
behind me, but
Yeah.
in a green, and that's what I caught my first ever
Stop
barra.
making it about you, man.
Yeah, it's
Fuck.
about us, mate.
But believe it or not, I think like the old feather jig.
Yeah.
The old feather jig. There's
There
so
you go.
many lures. Like which you're gonna ask me which one is your
I'll get
you'll
there.
get to that.
I'll get there.
But in the creeks of Broome, Dampier Creek, the old Niels Master Spearhead, low profile lure.
Oh, just dong me microphone.
Great little lure. Could catch a fair bit on it. My missus threw this out at a longtail one day and ended up with this massive longtail. This thing's down the back of its throat. It's disappeared. The leader hung on. I had to wind it in. She was a bit slow.
That's. Can I have a look at that? It's got quite a weird little.
This is probably a Nils Master Spirit rip-off, I'd imagine, because I've got a shitload of them in my tackle tray.
I'm interested by these little fins that are on the side.
Yeah, it's a bit different to the original.
How's it swim? Is it, I'm imagining it doesn't
wobble.
really have a wobble. It's pretty,
No wobble, no gobble.
No.
So can we pick one, or you're gonna give us one that you reckon?
If I had to have now, recently, obviously, there's the old Twisty.
Yep.
Back in the day, I would have said Twisty all day long, but recently, I've been using the micro jig.
Yeah.
The micro jig is such a versatile little fella, and it's fishable in lots of different ways. So I think if I had to have something, I'd have a micro jig.
Love it.
Nice.
That's what I'd go with.
All right. Well, we're going to hang something in the
You're not hanging my micro jig.
No, yeah, it's in the packet still.
You can have the barrel.
There you go. That's a good one. That's a bit worn. It's got some hook wraps on it.
That one's been in the top of the tackle box in the sun. Look at it. It's bent like a banana.
It's the black and gold. Nice. The black and gold colour for anyone out there, which is a really effective colour. It's similar to the gold bomber. It's got a little bit of a bend in it too, so you can tell it's had some fish.
Yeah, I have these tackle trays that the boys hate. Yeah. They came out of the some work cars when I was working at the auctions, and they used to take all the shit out of the cars and throw them. It was all these trays, but they had clear lids.
Yeah.
And they're just stackable. And I'd make the mistake of leaving my lure tray on the top in the sun.
Ends up being like a magnifying glass.
Brand new monsoons just twisted, and
they're not cheap, man.
I'm so upset with myself.
That like $40.
Yeah, I know.
Mate, that's going to look epic. Price. That's going to look epic on the wall. Mate, I absolutely love these chats because we get to sit down with all the different characters in the fishing industry, and you're definitely one of those. But
yeah, you're not a fuckwit either, mate. I apologise.
It's going to go sideways. Your pizza's going to be cold out the front, so we're going to go to the quick fire.
All
right. Well, we wrap this up. I just want the first thing that comes to your head. Last few questions of the day. Top 3 eating fish.
Red Emperor, coral trout, jewfish.
Good mix. Daiwa or Shimano?
Shimano.
One lure for the rest of your life? You just go
micro jig.
Micro jig, Ocean's Legacy?
Ocean's Legacy is my choice of, I like Alan.
Those Rovens are wicked.
Alan's been with me since the beginning.
He's a good fella. I love Alan.
He's supported me from the very beginning, and I'd do anything to support him back.
Yeah, legend.
I'm interested in this one. Best boat snack?
Chocolate.
Chocolate on a boat?
I love eating on a boat. I get
you
hungry.
Got a fridge on your boat.
I get hungrier on a boat than I get anywhere. I don't know what it is about food and boats. I just love eating on a boat.
Any kind of chocolate?
My old mate Ron Lepresti used to have hazelnut. Just hazelnut chocolate. Cadbury hazelnut. That was it.
Yeah, Cadbury or die, I reckon.
Now it can be snakes and it can be sour worms.
You got a fridge, obviously. So
no, not necessarily. Got
the mud guts mix.
All right. Bucket list destination.
I wouldn't mind catching one of those big tuna up in America. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Would be sick. If you could have a beer with any fisho, dead or alive, who would it be?
Jeez, that's a hard one. There's a lot of them. I'd probably shit, I don't know. Dead or alive.
Who's the first one that comes to mind?
Well, it's weird. It wasn't a fisher. It was Harry Butler. It was always like nature, and Harry Butler was my idol growing up because I love like picking up rocks and looking at scorpions and spiders and all sorts.
Yeah, wicked. I'll pay that.
And I think he used to fish. Maybe I don't know.
You could take him. You could have a beer with him and take him fishing.
He sparked a bit of curiosity for.
If not, old Ronnie, bring him
adventure.
back. Bring old Ronnie back. I'll have a beer with him. He doesn't drink, but.
Any advice for a young fisherman?
It's not all about the gram. It's like these kids these days, every fish I see is in front of their face.
Yes, brilliant. Yes. Thank you for saying this, Clowes.
Guys, we want to see the joy on your face because a lot of you all catch release. You all do the right thing. Don't be afraid of what you're doing. Put your face behind the picture and let people see the joy that fishing brings you.
Let us see the stoke. That is great piece of advice, Clowes.
So.
All you TikTok boys out there, who gives a shit?
If it's not the fish, it's the the album of the music that's playing in the background.
Yeah, that
my
mumble
kids
rap.
do it and shit. And it just drives me.
Yeah,
Fucked.
yeah. All you TikTok kids out there, all you young lads, you're getting after it. You're doing the right thing, but yeah,
Enjoy
let
it.
us see the stoke.
Promote
That's what
yourself.
fishing's about. Who cares what anyone else thinks? Just get out there, share what you're doing. If you want to share it, let us see you smile.
Have a smile.
100%.
Mate, Clowesy, you're an absolute legend. Jazz Charters, look them up if you are in Perth. They are the premier charter.
The only charter.
The only charter. That's right. Yeah.
Nice. So where can they follow you on Instagram, Facebook, all
Jazz
that?
Charters. It's all under Jazz Charters. Yeah.
Cool. And they just go on the website to book a charter.
You can ring Narissa, ring her mobile.
She'll hate you after
Don't
this.
ring
the
for
boss.
weekends until January, and midweeks probably next month.
All right,
Cool.
well, we're going to get this lure in the wall. We'll get your pizza out the front. It's probably cold now, but mate,
I like
legend.
cold pizza.
Cool.
Yeah.
Get out there, book a charter with Jazz. Tall Tales.
Yo.
See you
Cheers,
next
boys.
time.